Mr. Senate President, the fourth and the last order of the day is a motion standing in the name of Senator Musa Sani on the collapse of Sungeru Bridge, situated along the busy Sungeru-Tegina Road. Need for urgent repairs to prevent further disruption and movement of people. Mr. President, you may wish to invite Senator Musa Sani to move the motion.
Senator Sani Musa, Chairman Committee on Finance, the north central part of this country, you have the floor to present your motion, because I know this motion is not only on behalf of Niger State, but on behalf of the entire north central state.
Thank you, Mr. President, for these elogies. My distinguished colleagues, I'm Mohammed Sani Musa, representing Niger East Senatorial District. I have a motion here on the collapse of the Zungeru Bridge, situated along the busy Zungeru-Tegina Road. Need for urgent repairs to prevent further disruptions of movement of people. The Senate knows that the Zungeru Bridge, which is a critical federal infrastructure in the country, providing access across the Kaduna River, has collapsed. And due to its deteriorating condition and bad shape, traffic have been diverted to the old bridge, originally designed for railway use, but currently serving both rail and motor vehicles traffic. Also note that as a result of this diversion, the old bridge is under severe pressure, posing a significant threat of collapse, which could lead to catastrophic consequences as over 1,000 vehicles pass through the route on daily basis in order to facilitate movement of people, essential goods, and food items, just as we received the information of the collapse of another bridge, the Rara Bridge, which is another link between Tegina to Kebbi State. Further note that the diversion and disruption caused by the current state of the bridge has invariably restricted human and economic activities, with food supplies particularly affected and heightened insecurity in the areas, thereby occasioning hardships on the residents and travelers as well, and concern that if urgent intervention measures are not put in place to address this infrastructural challenge, the continuous usage of the old bridge will lead to devastating social and economic consequences that could further aggravate insecurity and disrupt national supply chains, which will have far-reaching effect on the well-being of the citizenry. Accordingly, Senate resolved to urge the Federal Ministry of Works and the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, to, as a matter of urgency, embark on immediate repairs, rehabilitation, and reconstruction of the Zungeru Bridge in order to prevent further collapse of the old bridge, lose of lives, protect national assets, and ensure free flow of economic activities and security in the region. Also urge the relevant ministries and agencies, especially the Nigeria Railway Corporation, to conduct structural assessment of the old bridge and put in place measures to avert further collapse. And finally, further urge the relevant authorities to assess and evaluate the state of bridges across the country with a view to outlining long-term strategies for the sustenance of federal infrastructures nationwide. You all recall that it happened in Jigawa, it happened in Bauchi State, so there is need for Federal Ministry of Works to do something about it. And I believe the Senate will consider this motion. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Alero Adamu Muhammad. For
distinguished colleagues, Muhammad Adamu Alero, remember my name, I represent Kebbi Central. Mr. President, I rise to second this very important motion, I believe sponsored by my colleague and brother, Senator Sani Musa. As we all know, this year we witnessed very heavy rainfall, which resulted into serious infrastructural damage. The very devastating damage to road infrastructure in the country. And to be honest, based on what the experts have said, for the last 30 years, we have not witnessed heavy downpour or rainfall like this year. So it is not unexpected that there will be damage to federal infrastructure. The Izungeri Bridge, which has been mentioned here, was built during the colonial era, and we cannot even ascertain the integrity of this bridge. It is really very, very risky to allow heavy traffic to be passing through that bridge. So the earlier we repair this bridge, the Izungeri Bridge, the better, so that we can avert further damage and calamity that may likely happen. And he mentioned Rara Bridge in Kebbi State. Our brothers in House of Representatives have already passed a motion on that. And I mentioned it to him that he should include this in this motion so that it can be a joint effort.
When you come to the prayer, then you introduce it.
Oh, okay. So this Rara Bridge also is the main link between Niger State and Kebbi State, and even Zamfara and Katsina State. So people now have to traverse over 400 kilometers instead of going just through 150 kilometers to reach Sokoto and Kebbi. So we are in a very desperate situation to get this bridge repaired. And I urge my colleague to support this very important motion. Thank you very much.
Musa Midoki, then Senator Ekong. You have the floor.
Mr. President, I want to thank you very much for this opportunity. I want to join those who have spoken to commend the distinguished Senator, what is his name again? Senator Musa Sani for this important motion. And for me, what this raises goes beyond fixing this particular bridge. When I was growing up, in the Ministry of Works, they have a department and they have equipment that they go routinely around federal roads. And we used to make joke of them when we say slow men at work. And those agencies are still there, the ministry is still there. I believe a lot of equipments are still there, but you will see a crack on a bridge or even a crack on a road that can be fixed immediately. And we wait until the bridge completely collapses, and then we share crocodile tears, and then we call on NAMA to provide relief, when this is something that could have been avoided in the first instance. I think in addition to supporting this motion, we should take advantage of this to urge the Federal Ministry of Works to live up to their responsibilities by monitoring all federal roads. I'm sure across the country they have federal controllers, and I think their job should go beyond awarding contracts to maintain roads that are already built. If this bridge is not fixed and it collapses, it will be difficult to calculate how much loss, not just in terms of economic issues, but even loss of lives. And it is not for North Central, it is for Nigeria, because those who ply these roads don't need to have indigenship certificate. The way the Nigerian economy works is that one carry goods from one area, dump it in another state, somebody pick it from there to another place. When I was coming from my village sometime in 1967, 68, I passed through all those bridges. And I'm sure people are still doing so till today. So I do not think this is something that is controversial, that we should maintain our national asset. It's a matter of common sense, that the ministry shouldn't wait for resolutions to draw the attention to their responsibility, not only to build roads, but to monitor those roads. We also have FEMA, whose business is to maintain federal roads. Maintenance is not limited to road, it should also include bridges and any of those facilities that need to be in place so that Nigerian nation can get value for their money. Mr. President, I'm completely in support of this motion, and I want to thank, I didn't know that, busy as he is, flying, you know, those with private jet, that he even have idea that those of us who are destined to go by road knows that some of the bridges are in bad shape. I think you deserve to be re-elected by your constituency. Thank you, Mr. President.
But Senator Sani Musa is also a comrade. He's also a comrade. What he's doing, he told me he's flying everywhere so that you will now see what the butchers are seeing, so that you come and tell you the comrades. That's what he's doing. So he's there for you.
So we'll update our register of comrades. Thank you, sir. You will be carrying me too, so I can show you some corners.
So, Senator Dikeplan.
I must commend you for allowing younger people to talk, who learn, sir, giving opportunity. I'm very grateful, sir. My colleagues, I'm Senator Dikeplan, representing Plateau Central. I rise again to sympathize with my senior brother for bringing the plight in Zingeru, which is a Nigerian plight. But I rise again also, sir, to commend the Nigerian Meteorological Department, because the scientific reports are coming to reality. And therefore, it is for us as Nigerians to take note of these scientific informations about excess rain and the damages that will come across. I think we need to commend them, because what they are saying is coming to reality. I again want to say that Zingeru, being the former capital of the Northern Protectorate, is a historical town, and it's an outlet and inlet between the north and the south in terms of movements. And therefore, if this bridge is not repaired on time, the economic and social impact, not just to Niger, but to Nigerians on both sides, cannot be quantified. And therefore, any urgency in terms of repairs must be what would be looked into. And again, sir, since our bridges and dams are responding this way, I would have loved that even in our comments, we will not be asking the relevant ministries just to watch what is happening on our roads alone, but even our dams, because the same thing happens with our dams. And most of our dams are very old. And there's a need for us even to look at our dams to avoid calamities. I commend I sympathize with him for what he has presented, and I believe that all the prayers that will be said here, I wish that they will be listened to, and then there will be quick response to enable us avoid all the social and economic calamities that this has brought to us.
I'd like to speak on this debate should be Senator Gabriel.
Distinguished colleagues, my name is Garba Musa Maidoki, Senator representing Kebbi South Senatorial District. I rise to support this motion because this collapsed bridge has negatively impacted on my people. Distinguished colleagues, because of the complete dilapidation of the road from Tagina to Sahurami to Kwantagora, every traffic, the Senate President, from Kebbi State, from Sokoto, from Zamfara, from Katsina, now divert to Rumina, Niger State. And the only bridge that is connecting us is the Tagina Bridge, where the Zungeru Dam is somewhere at the back. Distinguished Senate President, Tagina deserves our attention. At one time, colleagues, Tagina was the
headquarters of the northern region. Tagina was where Chief Awolowo was born. His umbilical cord was there. Azikwe and Awolowo, their parents were all working in railway in Tagina. We know their houses. Tagina has contributed seriously, sir, to the national development of this country. And it is unfortunate that we do not look back for the communities that has helped us to galvanize this country as a country of the same people, where people of various ethnicity came to converge, had a full lifestyle, had families, and call it home. And nobody was discriminated against. If we had built on that legacy, probably today, the question of creating for state, creating would have not been there. I seek your indulgence, sir. If this bridge is not fixed, I can guarantee you that the harvest for this year will not find a place to move to the southern part of Nigeria where it is badly needed. And lamentably, sir, between Tagina and Zungeru, sir, this is the hibernation of all the banditry in that place. So if vehicles now stay there for a day to have a simple passage through that narrow railway bridge, I hope we will not be here to be condoling. The Senate will sell condolence to people because they have been kidnapped by bandits. That area is prone to kidnapping. And I seek the indulgence of these our colleagues that immediate solution, even if it is a temporary palliative, so that vehicle can start flowing that road, can be achieved. Thank you, sir.
The last to speak, Senator Ekong Sani.
Ekong Samson. I represent Akwa Ibom South. I want to throw my weight behind the type of opinion. My name is Ekong Samson, Akwa Ibom South. I readily would like to throw my weight behind the type of opinion in favor of the prayer in this motion. Mine may be like a handshake across borders. From Akwa Ibom South, any pressure in Zungeru is as much felt in my area. My colleague has mentioned the place of Zungeru in history, the birthplace of the great Zik. One can only add that I'm very much attached to Zungeru because of what I've read from Cyprian Ekwensi, a great writer who was born in that great town and did a lot for literature in Nigeria. But beyond Ekwensi, I think the time has come as a Senate, as an institution, for us to encourage, as we've been doing, a response mechanism that will help to assess our infrastructure, the integrity in our infrastructure. A bridge is a key infrastructure. We should not wait until a bridge is seriously compromised, as it were. We have to put in place a mechanism where there will be constant assessments of through integrity tests on our key infrastructure. If a bridge collapses and there's traffic on it, the consequences will be very, very grave. Against this backdrop, there's great merit in the prayers as contained in this motion, especially the third prayer that is
don't worry, we'll go there.
Pan Nigerian.
We'll go there. We'll go to
so I want to support my colleague in a symbolic handshake across borders that this motion has merit and that we should readily intervene as this case persuades us. I thank you.
Thank you, Senator Ekong Samson. We now go to the prayers.
the President of the Senate, my distinguished colleagues, I was thinking that Mr. President's eye has not caught me, so I was looking the other way. But thank you for recognizing me. Mr. President, I want to lend my voice to this very important motion because it touches on the very fundamentals of our maintenance culture. Mr. President, in those days, we used to have the PWD, the Public Works Department. And across the highways of this country, all these camps were there. And they quickly responded to issues of potholes on our roads before they will escalate to the level of the impassable. Unfortunately, Mr. President, the PWD has been scrapped. Today we have the Ministry of Works, we have the FEMA. Mr. President, one of the critical observations that I've made in the course of time is our supervisory capacity in ensuring that things are done properly. And so, in most cases, when construction works are going on our roads, it doesn't go beyond mere surface dressing. That doesn't last for more than a year. And Mr. President, I can say that this is also responsible for the collapse of this bridge that we are talking about. Otherwise, the bridge is supposed to be a live project, and it's supposed to last for as long as it should. But unfortunately, because of our poor supervisory roles in the construction works on our various sites, we don't have that. And so, Mr. President, I think that as it is done in other climes, and unfortunately here we had these toll gates. The process of toll gates ordinarily should be channeled towards the maintenance of our roads and our bridges. But ridiculously, we scrapped the toll gates. And we are crying of money, we don't have money to maintain our facilities. So, Mr. President, I think that we should go back to the basics. Because right now, the challenge that we have is identifying where we have gone wrong in all ramifications of our national life. And so, if we go back to the basics, I believe if we get back to the basics, I believe that we can get it right. It doesn't matter how long it takes us to get these things done, but we must get it right for the sake of our people, because this particular bridge that has collapsed now has various implications. The food that are moved from the south down to the north will be stuck. Human beings that will be going from the south to the north to go and do their business will be stuck. And so it affects all aspects of our life. And so, Mr. President, I urge my colleagues to support this motion, and especially the Compliance Committee, to make sure that whatever resolutions we arrive at on this route, on this matter, is carried out by the Compliance Committee. I so submit, Mr. President.
Yes, yeah, submission on this imminent collapse of the... So by today it has finally collapsed. So we go to the prayers. Prayer 1. Urge the Federal Ministry of Works and the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, to, as a matter of urgency, embark on immediate repairs, rehabilitation and reconstruction of the Zungeru Bridge in order to prevent further collapse of the old bridge, loss of lives, protect national assets, and ensure free flow of economic activities and security in the region. Amendment. Yes, distinguished Senator Alero.
My name representing Kebbi Central. Mr. President, I want to amend this prayer. And I amend it as follows. Urge the Federal Ministry of Works and Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, to, as a matter of urgency, embark on immediate repairs, rehabilitation, and reconstruction of the Ngeru and Rara bridges in both Niger and Kebbi State in order to prevent further collapse of the old bridges, loss of lives, protect national assets, and ensure free flow of economic activities and security in the entire region.
Any seconder to the amendment? Yaya, our leader.
President, my highly respected and distinguished colleagues, I rise to second the amendment ably made by distinguished Senator Muhammad Adamu Aliru. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, prayer 1 has been amended and has been seconded. Those who are in support of the amended prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2 also urge the relevant ministries and agencies to conduct structural assessment of the old bridge and put in place measures to avert further collapse. Yes, distinguished Senator Ningi.
I look at this prayer severally, and I actually don't get any sense out of it. Look at the first prayer.
No, don't put it that way.
No.
Just say that.
I don't understand it.
No, say it is not elegant enough in the draft. Not that you don't make sense out of it. Even when you are saying you want to put in place measures to avoid further collapse, it means that it's still the same thing we said yesterday, imminent collapse.
In addition, sir, the prayer looks big to me. See, in the first prayer, you mentioned Federal Minister of Works. You also mentioned FEMA. In the second prayer, you say relevant ministries. Who are they? Relevant agencies. Who are they? If you know them, mention them here so that it gets to them. But when you mention relevant ministries, relevant agencies, while in the first one you mention the ministry, you mention the agency. So that is my problem with the prayer. Okay. So maybe Sani is there, he will be able to give us some ideas about it.
Your observation is sustained. Distinguished Senator Sani Musa.
Mohammed Sani Musa, representing Niger East. I will amend it to say also urge the relevant ministries, i.e. Ministry of Works and Ministry of Transport and Nigerian Railway Corporation to conduct structural assessment of the old bridge, because the old bridge is a railway bridge. It's for railway crossing, not motor vehicles. So, and put in place measures to avert further collapse, because the first bridge is collapsed. If now pressure is putting on the second bridge, it's eminently going to collapse.
Okay, the second bridge is for reinforcement.
Sir?
The second bridge is for reinforcement.
It's for rail, yeah.
So to put measures to ensure reinforcement.
Yeah, exactly.
The last time, I think you are an engineer. So please assist.
Thank you, Mr. President, sir. Senator Patrick Sendube, representing Imo North. Sir, it is proper when we are referring projects, we refer to the actual ministry. There's nothing like ministries and others. Here, the relevant ministry here is Works and Railway only. Why? This is, if I've not seen the place, we know some people, they will see bus covers so big, they'll call it bridge. But if it's actual bridge, the FEMA has nothing to do with such category of work. So we refer to Federal Ministry of Works and Nigerian Railway Corporation in the couching. If you permit me, I can read it. We say, also urge
the Federal Ministry of Works and the Nigerian Railway Corporation to conduct structural assessment of the old bridge and put in place measures to avert further collapse. Period. We don't need other ministries or agencies. No. Huh? Yes. To avert collapse. No. They said the other section has collapsed. It's just the second section they are talking about. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
So, yeah, like you said,
yes,
we want the prayer to say that urge the Federal Ministry of Works and also the Nigerian Railway Corporation to take measures immediately to assess the structural situation of the old bridge with a view to averting a future collapse, not a further collapse. Just a future collapse. So Senator Sani, pick it from there so that he can second the amendment.
Federal Ministry of Works and Nigerian Railway Corporation to conduct structural assessment of the old bridge and put in place measures to avert future collapse. I so move. I'm moving. He's to second it now.
The amendment has been moved. Is there any seconder? Yeah. Well, this time this is Senator Isunaso.
My name is Senator Osita Isunaso. I represent Imo West. I rise to second the amendment as moved by Senator Sani Musa. I so second, Mr. President.
Distinguished colleagues, Prayer 2 has been amended by distinguished Senator Sani Musa and seconded by distinguished Senator Isunaso to say, urge the Federal Ministry of Works and the Nigerian Railway Corporation, by implication the Federal Ministry of Transportation, to conduct structural assessment of the old bridge and take measures to avert future collapse. Those in support of the amended prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 3. Further urge the relevant authorities to assess and evaluate the state of bridges across the country with a view to outlining long-term strategies for the sustenance of federal infrastructures nationwide. Any amendment? Yes, distinguished Senator Plan.
President, for a little amendment. And my amendment is that from the discussion of the body of this motion that we did earlier, further urge the relevant authorities to access and evaluate the state of bridges and dams across the country with a view to outlining long-term strategies and dams, because from the discussion we had an idea that it's not only the roads and bridges alone, but even our dams. So there's a need to a general survey into that, sir. And dams.
You are mine. I think the only inclusion is the dam. That is totally out of the body of the motion for today. But it's not a bad idea. Any seconder? Yes, this is Yunus. Yaro.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dinos Yaro, Adama South. Mr. President, before I second it, let me just observe that the word is assess, not access. So we should assess, not access. So with that, Mr. President, I second the amendment as moved by Senator Plan. I so second.
I've actually, Secretariat notes is ASSES, so assess, not access. Yes, the motion has been moved and seconded. The amendment of prayer 3, those in support of prayer 3 as amended, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Any additional prayer? Yes, distinguished Senator Garba.
And I'm happy to see you. You are looking well today.
Photo trick.
Yeah, he wasn't looking too well yesterday. But my distinguished colleagues, in my capacity as the chairman for compliance, I've noticed our resolutions are not backed by the financial resources to enable the MDAs to comply with. So we make resolutions, we look into the budget, there is no money for them to comply with those resolutions. With your permission, colleagues and the Senate President, I will add that in this particular emergency case, maybe because I'm negatively impacted, that we should look for money from the contingency fund for the immediate repair of this bridge. I so submit, sir.
It's just an observation.
Yes, sir.
The chairman of appropriation is saying that whether in your budget, whether you have a contingency funding arrangement that could be assessed to take care of this bridge. But that's actually an executive function. So I just wanted to throw light on it.
Thank you, Mr. President. You have rightly said, yes, there are provisions for contingency in the budget. And if there are emergencies like this that needs to be addressed, I think there is a provision for it, which I believe the executive should be able to provide for to address this emergency that have happened. So if we applied or we bring it to the notice of the executive through the resolution of this Senate, they should be attended to immediately.
So in your additional prayer, you are saying that we should urge the federal government of Nigeria to utilize the contingency funds.
Your Excellency, I think somebody somewhere is giving us an information. I know of a Ministry of Work itself, there is a contingency for, and also the service-wide votes. There can be provision that can be made to address this emergency that have just happened.
Sorry.
The Deputy Senate President, being a guru in appropriation.
The chairman has said it all. There is always contingency fund in the service-wide votes. The minister, if he doesn't have money, can apply to Mr. President to ask that such fund can be harvested from, so that emergency like this can be attended to. So what the chairman appropriation committee said is right. And what even my brother, Medoki, you brought something and you are discussing. Garba, listen, he talked about contingency fund. What he said is right. So the motion, the prayers can go directly to that it could be that money, the capital contingency can be utilized to attend to this emergency.
So this is Senator Garba, the chairman of appropriation and the Deputy Senate President are alluding to the fact that yes, there is always provision for this kind of unexpected emergency in the budget through service-wide vote or through contingency provision, even within the ministries, and that they could write and for approval of Mr. President to take care of this disaster. So maybe you may just proceed a final additional prayer to say, urge the Federal Ministry of Works and Transport and Federal Ministry of Transport to immediately apply to Mr. President for release of funds from the contingency provision or the service-wide route to arrest this imminent collapse of the Zungeru Bridge. Please sit down. DSP will move the additional prayer. Then you can now second Senator Mustafa. He being the former chairman of appropriation, he knows where some of such monies are hidden.
Well, water catch. Okay, the motion goes this way. All the Federal Minister of Works to attend to the repairs of this bridge and other bridges so affected by this year's flooding by seeking the utilization of funds from the service-wide vote to be so utilized for this purpose. I so move.
So, with the
service-wide is domiciled in the. Well, excuse me. The contingency fund is domiciled in service-wide vote. So when you say so, they don't. No, when you say service-wide, it's known. It's there. You don't need to say condition. When you say service-wide, the money is domiciled in service-wide.
Okay, so it is not hidden. No?
It's not hidden.
So
when you say service-wide, nobody knows where you are going.
Nobody should quote me and say that the money is hidden. It's not hidden.
It's there.
Okay, information. Yes, the Senator Lamileko.
Thank you, Mr. President. I listened to the Deputy Senate President and the suggestion he has so given concerning the additional prayer. Mr. President, the position of Senator Alero, being the former chairman of Works, he understands that the budget of work also contains what we call the contingency fund for issues like this. And for the Deputy Senate President that have recommended the service-wide, it's an omnibus budget that where we can attend to issues like this as well. So if Senator Alero is trying to add the contingency fund from work, it's because we are directing this motion to the ministry, and the resolution we are sorting for is to the ministry. So should in case, because if you want to apply for the service-wide vote, you have to apply straight to the president. While that of the works, the Minister of Works can immediately access it to attend to this. So either of the two, we must look at it to apply accordingly. So if we are adding contingency as well for Ministry of Works, it's also good for the urgency that is involved in that in this particular. So I think the DSP can, looking from me from now, amend the prayer, then we can second as amended. Thank you.
Let me hear briefly from the Senate President.
Distinguished colleagues, I'm Ahmed Launa, representing Yobe North. Mr. President, we are talking about emergencies, and I want to align myself with the submission by the Chairman, Committee on Appropriations. When you are talking about emergencies, in the Ministry of Works itself, which includes FEMA, there is provision for such contingencies. So if we really want to deal with emergencies in a very speedy way, we shouldn't restrict the Ministry of Works to asking for President to approve and the rest of it. And if we do that, we'll be sending the presidents that will come later to haunt us a bit. I would suggest that we just leave it to the executive to decide where they get their money from. We assume there is money in the Ministry of Works for this, including FEMA. If they don't, they know where to go and look for this. What we need to do is to follow up our resolutions and know whether they have been implemented or not. If implemented, that's what we want. If not, then we can now look at the other way. But if we start saying, go to the service-wide votes, the emergency aspect will simply diminish because it will take some kind of very lengthy bureaucratic procedures. So I aligned myself with Chairman, Committee on Appropriations. Minister of Works itself should deal with this. Thank you.
So, distinguished Senator, Deputy Senate President, yes.
What he said was that whenever they went to Minister of Works to ask for this, they would tell them they don't have money for emergency. Is that what you told me? That's what he said. It's because of that I couch it this way. He told me there's no money in the Ministry of Works. So that's why I couch it this way.
Appropriation.
Sir, we are talking about the resolution of the Senate. It's not an individual approaching the Ministry of Works. This is the resolution of the Senate. And once the resolution of the Senate gets there, they must give it attention accordingly. But if an individual approaches them, they will tell you they don't have money. They don't do this. But the resolution of the Senate, with the letter from here, I think they should give it attention. It's an urgent matter, and it should be dealt with accordingly. So I would suggest the amendment to that position of the DSP. Then we can move on from there, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Senator Alero wants to give that. Okay.
Thank you. Mr. President, only yesterday we had an interface with the Minister of Works, and he complained to us bitterly that the resolutions we forward to his office on repairs of broken bridges, repairs of roads that have been devastated arising from the flooding, he doesn't have the money to do the repairs. The resources provided in the budget are not adequate. He asked us to make provision, lump sum provision for contingency so that it can take care of emergencies. And in every year, after the rainy season, the Ministry of Works do contact controllers of works in various states of the Federation to forward list of all roads and bridges that are broken. And they forward them to the headquarters, they compile report, and they use what they have in the budget, contingency funds in the budget. And he said that usually the amount provided is not enough. He said this year is only 10 billion naira. But what they have is more than 30 billion naira because of the unprecedented rainfall we have. So the use of service-wide board is inevitable because we cannot allow our road infrastructure to remain in bad shape. It will affect economic activities, it will disrupt life and businesses. So both service-wide board and contingency funds should be utilized to embark on immediate repairs of broken bridges and roads nationwide.
I think the problem we have is trying to limit it to service-wide votes. We should just direct. We should direct the Federal Ministry of Works to utilize either the contingency provided in the budget of the ministry or from any other source. Yes, or from any other source. They have, you know, there is this NMPCL tax credit scheme. They have a lot of avenues that they can you know, it's still part of the federal government scheme. Tax credit takes time. Okay, so DSP. based on the cacophony of voices, now couch the amendment.
Urge the Federal Ministry of Works to attend to the repairs of this bridge, or if you like, mention the name of the bridge, and other bridges so affected by this year flooding by seeking the utilization of emergency funds wheresoever, emergency funds wheresoever. Okay, but from contingency funds domicile at the Ministry of Works and service-wide votes in the Ministry of Finance.
That's okay.
That's okay. To be used to utilize. Okay, yeah, that's okay.
Senator Mustafa.
Just a second.
Your Excellency, the Senate President, distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Sani Mustafa, representing Kwara Central. I rise to second the amendment that the service-wide vote and the contingency fund should be utilized to address some of the damages on these immediate works on the Zungeru Bridge between Niger and Kebbi State, so as to be able to meet up the immediate repairs. Thank you very much.
Yes, so the motion has been rephrased by the Deputy Senate President and properly seconded by the Senator Sani Mustafa that we should urge the Federal Ministry of Works to utilize the contingency funds domiciled in the Federal Ministry of Works or funds domiciled in the service-wide votes to cater for the immediate repairs of the Zungeru Bridge and all other bridges that are in this state of disrepair across the nation. Those in support of the motion as rephrased as an additional prayer, say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. I think at this stage I must thank all our colleagues who have made contributions to this all-important motion, and to say that we have now done justice to this imminent collapse of the Zungeru Bridge, to the collapse of the Zungeru Bridge and the imminent collapse of the old bridge that has a railway track on it. I think that's the way it is. So, and the Senator Sani Musa, I'm sure you are now happy. And the Committee on Compliance, I noted the fact that you were worried about where the money will come from. But the three principal actors, the former chairman of Works, Senator Alero, the Deputy Senate President, former chairman of Appropriation, the incumbent chairman of Appropriation, all have now stated that yes, indeed, that there are provisions made in the Ministry of Works for emergencies of this nature, and where that provision is not enough, they have a right to approach Mr. President to take care of the emergency through the service-wide vote. And so it's now the business of your committee to ensure that the letters, the motions, the letters of the motions are saved on the Ministry of Works and that of Transport, and then you monitor the compliance. So I thank all our colleagues for their interest in the welfare and the well-being of Nigerians as expatiated in this motion that we have just dealt with. Yes. This Leader Yahya Abubakar presented
this point of order much earlier, but because